Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do something a little bit different. And that's going to be getting this Super Nintendo to work. So a little story with this. This is actually my buddies who bought a Super Nintendo lot with a bunch of games. Like, I'm actually jealous of the amount of games he's got in one shot. But took it home and he called me and said, his games aren't working. What are the odds that 20 plus games would be dead? So we brought it over, and sure enough, only 2 of his games worked. The others were just dead, didn't work. So I grabbed my original Super Nintendo, and every one of his games worked. None of my games would work in his, but all my games worked in mine. All of his games worked in mine. So I think there's something wrong with this machine. And there's actually really interesting history with this little guy as to why it was redesigned and why it's so much lighter than the original, so much smaller. But for right now, we're going to tear it apart. I think I know what's wrong. I think it's just the slot there just needs to be cleaned. Might have some corrosion on it. So let's grab my special tool here just for tearing apart Nintendo stuff, because they use a type of Torx called E-Torx. Which, instead of being the internal style or external style, where the bit is star-shaped and goes into the screw, the screw is actually star-shaped, and you have to use a special bit to use it, which is not focusing right now. I'll show a picture of it later. Let's get these 4 undone. And again, I'm apologizing for my audio right now if I'm a little quiet, because for some reason I don't know why my camera doesn't like my voice down here. 3 out of 4. Cool. Okay. Before I tear it apart, there's a bit of a size difference, both in length, width, and even height. But a lot of the design elements are there. The purple power and reset buttons, the color. Actually, the color, I don't know, it's not coming clear on the camera, but there is a shade difference. This is more of like a cool color gray. This has more of a warm color gray to it. But there's no power LED. The original one, the LED would light up. There's no indication on this one. And to reduce cost, they removed the RF modulator. So this is just AV composite video. And it is a lot smaller, as you can see. Like, a lot smaller. In fact, my original Super Nintendo right here, which I actually just got done restoring not long ago, has a much larger motherboard on it, much heavier, much more components. So here's my original Nintendo's motherboard, and my entire motherboard is about the size of the entire Super Nintendo 2 or redesign or new Super Nintendo, whatever they called it. The only real difference between them mechanically is the eject mechanism. Where this one doesn't have it, you can just pull the game straight out. So, set that aside. There's a lot more consolidation on this too, compared to the older machines, because this actually came out in 1997, which is kind of weird considering that by this time the PlayStation, the Saturn, the N64, which was this thing's successor, was out. But yeah, there's the entire chip. There's a lot more consolidation. But let's see if we can get this thing cleaned up and working for my buddy. So the reason why they redesigned it was they actually went back to when the original Super Nintendo came out. There was a lot of sour points about the fact that, you know, the new system was out and you couldn't play old games on it. Which a lot of parents were not too happy with, because all of a sudden now, you know, you had to buy another multi-$100 system, and god dang it, and games that were, I think Super Nintendo games at the time were like the new, when they first came out, the Super Nintendo first came out, I think they were like 30, 40 bucks, I think, which you can imagine was a sour point because you just got done buying the original Nintendo and all those games. And now you had to buy a new system with new games. So they released the NES Top Loader, which kind of took some design elements from the original Super Nintendo, which they, you know, had the cartridge, instead of being slid in, it was a top loader. And they consolidated a bunch of chips and sold it as a budget gaming system. This was the same thing. When the N64 came out, they redesigned it for this to kind of give it a new look. They redesigned the controller a little bit. I'm going to do a whole video on that. This is just a try to get this working kind of thing. I don't see any bad chips or parts on it. And yeah, I'm just using generic glass cleaner and an old toothbrush. Really get down in all those crevices. I know cleaning consoles isn't the most exciting of content, but it's one of those things that just makes you feel better. And that's a heck of an improvement already. Scrub the button. So yeah, there's a whole interesting story about the Super Nintendo 2, or New Super Nintendo, whatever they called it. Really not a lot of crevices on the bottom to clean up. Move my generic glass cleaner. And let's go get some alcohol. Okay. Rubbing alcohol. Not the fun stuff. Yeah, I don't see any broken or bad pins, so this might just need to have been cleaned. Put it back together. And then we'll test it. Yeah, this is just a real quick vid. It's not a super in-depth talking about each of the chips or capabilities or this thing going head-to-head against a Genesis. Or Genesis 3, I think. I think this was released around the time of the Genesis 3 revision, I believe. And oddly, these are more expensive on eBay and, well, mainly eBay, than the originals, which I find hilarious because I have more memories playing the original Super Nintendo than the redesign. But I guess, you know, if you're a collector and you want each variation of the console, and I suppose you'd probably want to track one of these down. Especially if, say, you don't have a TV that has coaxial input. Which is the thing. There, a lot of modern TVs don't have the antenna jack anymore because so many people are switching to stream services and like cloud services, and in fact, I don't even think there's TVs coming with composite AV anymore. I think it's all HDMI or component. But let's grab a TV and make sure it works. And I'm going to use this old flat panel I've got. Okay, there we go. Just because I can. And I had to go dig out my Super Nintendo power cable and stuff because he took his with him, the dork. Luckily, it uses the exact same peripherals. And another good thing it uses is this is actually the rat's nest of wires. That is my GameCube audio video cable. Because luckily they used the Super Nintendo, GameCube, and N64 all used the same component hookup. I think the first, I don't know, it's been a while since I've even hooked one up. I think the first generation Wii used the same one. No, I need it on. AV. Super Nintendo controller. And let's try a couple games. Turn this down just in case. Okay, cool. So this game works. This game did not work originally. So it didn't even start up. So let's try all my games and just see what happens. Oh, no, never mind. It's working. So yeah, all these seem to be working. I'm not going to do Super Mario All-Stars again because I just used it. I'm surprised the game even still works anymore. I think I just about wore this out. I need to do a review of this game because I've never played it. It's weird that I say that because there's actually a few games I haven't played. I remember playing this one on PC, but I don't have it anymore. Oh, there's a save file on it. Not 100% sure if I like the way that sounds, because I think the PC version sounded way better. Okay. And the last game in my collection is one that used to tick me off more than anything. It seems to be working. So I think I finally got it. I think I can call my buddy and say, hey, I got your Super Nintendo fixed. Maybe. Okay, so there that is. I'll do a review video on the Super Nintendo later because I want to do it over the original one. Because this one's a neat little idea why they did it, but I don't have any memories of this design. But yep, it's done. Quick video.